Hi, it's Queenie here. Not too long ago, I met an old school friend of mine, a black guy, and I introduced him to my wife. And later, he contacted me on Facebook and he said, Queenie, you have a really nice wife, but I was surprised that she's black. We always thought you would marry a white girl. That wasn't the first time I had heard that. You see, back in the 70s, the 80s, lots of black guys had white girlfriends, especially if you was into soul music. See, when you went to clubs, there weren't that many black girls around. Their parents kept them in or kept them at church. What they were young ladies who had been brought up to respect themselves and demand respect from their young men. They were not brought up to accept foolishness, and they were brought up to keep their sexuality to themselves and not to put it on public display. You never saw a young black lady kissing in public. The life at home for these young women was a lot stricter than it was for the boys of the family, who basically had free reign to go where they wanted and do as they pleased. These young women were taught how to be basically housewives in the future, how to cook, how to clean, how to look after their men. It was my wife who taught me how to cook. I'm not saying all young black men could not cook. No, that's not what I'm saying, but the majority of us, that was left to our sisters. As I said, these young women demanded respect from the young men. You could not approach them and call them anything derogatory. You had to approach them with some charm. You had to sweet them, as we would say. You had to lyrics them, give them nice words. Lovers Rock was the music of the time because these young ladies loved the music of Lovers Rock. They loved guys singing about them being their girlfriends. And they loved making songs about being the girlfriend of that guy that they fell in love with. The music the young ladies listen to today would not have ever made it with these ladies. None of them called each other bitch unless that girl was actually a bitch. They weren't side pieces. They weren't my ting. They would not allow boys to call them that. If you was with one of these young ladies, she was your woman. She was your girlfriend.